Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mokonaman at YouTube with another modelling video. Today we'll be reviewing and building the Pegasus P-245-010 paper panzer tank, dubbed as the Jaguarundi or Jaguarundi. I most likely pronounced it wrong. I think it's some sort of form of, or since most German tanks are based off cats, it's off some sort of puma or something like that. It's more of the zoology name than the actual localized term. For those who do not know what a paper panzer is, it is a tank mostly from the Second World War that was designed, maybe mocked up, maybe a prototype built, but has not seen service or contribute to any sort of fight. They're normally quite elaborate, large, impractical, or just kind of a bit weird. And since almost all World War II subjects have been covered in one point or another, picking up these blueprints and mock-up models are quite fun to have a bit of a science fiction look at World War II. Germany, as well as Russia, were very well known for making very unusual tanks in a desperate bid for their situations during the late war period, especially on the Eastern Front. Going straight into the build, the instructions are very simplistic as well as the models. Pegasus is designed to be more of a tabletop wargaming system. They make a lot of housing and flora and fauna and vigors and whatnot. They have a few tanks in their range, mostly very unusual ones that people like Armorfast and whatnot won't touch. So they've got the Maus and a lot of other paper panzers and unusual tanks, as well as some of the big, heavy, well-known German tanks. Very well known for a very interesting texture on the armor and easy wheel assemblies. Only sometimes their kits contain one or sometimes two kits. This one contains two. I shared with my friend Rantea. Great if you're swap selling tanks. Very, very simple runners. The build is extremely easy, and you can see from the cast turret and body that it's got its very evident, very special sculpting and historical texture, and it's detailed all around, unlike some of the more simplistic wargaming miniature series. This system also incorporates the single run tracks and wheels into a single piece. The rear wheels do need to be snapped in, so the suspension was moldable. Very, very detailed, even to the point of the areas that you cannot see. Very easy to cut off the runners, clean up, stick it together. If you're extra fussy, there is a flash line that runs down the center of the tracks, and if you're willing to give 10 minutes, you can sand it out without any issue with sandpaper folded over. Another very interesting point about Pegasus, unlike the other ones as well, is they are actually truly snap. You almost have no glues to use whatsoever, and the seams are practically just flawless. There is a tiny flash around the actual hull itself. That was very, very easy to clean up. I did love the raised and recessed panels, as well as the grille at the very top. That was quite interesting. The turret was straightforward. The actual turret itself has pivot articulation, as well as the cannon can go up and down. Glued it all into place because not really into that shtick. And you've got the whole model assembled. With the cleanup and whatnot, can easily be done within half an hour to 1 hour with glue. If it's just a quick snap nub removal, you could probably get it over and done with in about 10 to 15 minutes and straight into painting. Doing my research on Google, I found there was insanely very little information on this particular tank, so I don't know what was taken as granted and what was not by Pegasus. I can guarantee that the box art and the colour scheme is completely fictitious, since it is just a picture of their model painted up by them. Decided to roll with that, even though for a long time I had this built. I dreamed of all sorts of other colour schemes. I started off with Gaia Notes Surface Evo oxidized red as my primer, as I do for all my other tanks. Painting as followed via airbrush. I dusted on Mr. Hobby Aquarius acrylic dark yellow or desert yellow, followed by dusting on in Lacquer's tan to get that bit of a color modulation look at it, you know, light coming from the top, shadowing at the bottom. Camouflage was done in a tiger stripe manner using a DH103 airbrush. I thinned down the paints, which were lacquers, quite significantly thin, and practiced drawing some lines. Once I was happy with the thinness of the lines, copying the side and only one angle I got of the box art of the color scheme, I tried to replicate an interesting camouflage flow, which I did kind of like, both green and dark red. Some of the tip of the barrel undershading with black, as well as the vents were done with black. Also, according to the box art, the tip of the barrel, some small details, the tank tracks were all hand painted using Tamiya acrylics. The whole kit was provided with a gloss clear, leftover Iron Cross style German decals were applied to just make it very clear of the time period and the country of origin if I was to take it out and about. Once all dry, the decals were sealed and a black sludge wash was applied. This is the tank completely and utterly finished. Everything was done very, very quickly, though since I was very hesitant about the colour scheme, I did put it aside for about a year or so, but I had other very big projects. It was something assembled last year at a workshop, and really, really liking the design and the texture. I just kept sitting on it until I felt inspired enough to paint it. I have to say, after completely finishing it, this is one of my favourite tanks that I've got next to the mouse and some of my other favourite projects. I'm very happy with the effort, camouflage and whatnot. It's very alien, very unusual. Love the cast texture and atmosphere around it. Definitely highly recommended if you can come across it and you're a big 70-second collector. This is just an absolute must. I absolutely love it and want to do more Pegasus stuff, the whole range, don't mind. At the very end, a Tamiya matte flat coat was applied, about 2 of them, and as well as a tiny bit of pigment and pasteling weathering on the edges. Can't say much. Do absolutely love it. A second time around, do recommend it. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, going to be pumping out a lot more tank reviews, whatever just tickles my fancy, no particular theme, no particular trend. I do like my World War II Japanese stuff and Soviets, but you know, it's whatever goes, whatever I come across. They're quick, they're fun, and hey man, it's a nice added content, a little extra fat to the channel. Catch you guys later, and stay tuned for more. Leave comments. Very happy to answer questions. Catch you guys later.